In this video, I'll cover various precision control techniques to gain more control over the output. You'll recognize some of them from the previous module, but this video will give you the chance to see the concepts in action when used with an example use case. Now, when it comes to prompts, there are numerous prompt patterns you can use. A prompt pattern is a specific way of structuring a question or instruction to help the AI understand and respond more effectively. It's like a formula that guides how you ask something to get the best possible answer. I asked the AI to list the most useful prompt patterns. Please list the most popular prompt patterns I can use to interact with Chatgpt. You can find this output in the description below this video. Just like the prompt schema I shared with you, these patterns can serve you as templates. Okay, so I want to talk about one specific pattern. In my opinion, it's one of the most effective ones. It's the persona pattern, which we covered in a previous video. To recap, the persona pattern is where you ask the AI to take on a role. For example, you are a direct response expert and prodigious email marketer. In this example, I'm prepping the AI to help me craft an email to a person I have never contacted before. You could also use this approach to generate a cold sales email. Now, I could have just told the AI to assume the role of an email marketer, but by suggesting some related skills, I can potentially improve the output even more. Okay, so far we've introduced the function. Now let's introduce the task. Please create an email asking a social media influencer known as Hoz if he would agree to be interviewed by me in an upcoming podcast. So now we have the function and the task. So far, so good. One of the things we can do at this point to gain more control over the output is to give the AI an example of what we would like to see. This is particularly useful when we have a particular format in mind. In this case, I want the email to follow a certain structure. Example structure: greeting, ask the question, mention the topic, explain a bit about the podcast. We can also provide examples for each of those sections if we want even more control over the output. This approach for this example is useful because in most cases the AI will generate a cheesy greeting for this type of email. Remember, the AI relies on its training data. If it's been trained on countless examples of standard marketing and outreach emails, then it's going to come up with the same type of template-like email. Usually these emails go something like this. Hey Hoz, I love your content. And then you mention a particular video that impressed you greatly. And then after dropping the compliment, you ask the question. This is pretty standard. Most outreach emails are a variation of this template. So one good way to avoid the AI from regurgitating this type of opener is by giving the AI an example opener. Like this. Example greeting. Hello, name. I hope you're well. I realize you're probably busy, but I wanted to ask a quick question. Providing examples of the output you want is one way to make your prompts more effective and the output more targeted. Another way to enhance your prompts is to provide the AI with context that is not in the AI's training data. For example, this could be your private data or any information that happened after the AI's training data cutoff point. And by the way, you can simply ask the AI when does its training data go up to, and it will tell you the date of the last update. Let's do that. When does your training data go up to?
As of my last update, my training data goes up to September 2021. I don't have access to real-time information or updates beyond that point. If you have questions about events or developments after that date, you might want to use other sources or tools to get the most current information.
This obviously changes as time goes on, but it can be useful to know when you're crafting a prompt that requires time-specific information that may not be in the training data. For example, if you ask the AI to generate an article about this year's Academy Awards. Okay, let's get back to our example. We're creating an email for an influencer called Hoz. Hoz is not really famous and the AI doesn't know about him. So we can introduce some new information in our prompt to help the AI craft a more personalized email. Please mention some of the newest topics on his blog and ask him if he would like to talk about one on the podcast. His website is www.theycallmehoz.com. This prompt tells the AI to explore Hoz's content and find some topics that we could discuss on the podcast. It also saves me having to do it. Another example of new information we can introduce to the AI could be our backstory. For example, explain to us some of the things we've been working on, which include a platform of online courses for aspiring solopreneurs. Mention how having him on the podcast would be of interest to our audience because there is an overlap in the topics we cover. Let's see the output.
Subject: invitation to join our podcast. An exciting opportunity to discuss your latest topics. Hello, Haz. I hope you're well. I realize you're probably busy, but I wanted to ask a quick question. I'm reaching out to see if you would be interested in being interviewed on our upcoming podcast. We are incredibly impressed by your insightful content, especially your recent posts on the importance of authentic engagement on social media, strategies for growing a loyal following, and tips for balancing personal life and social media presence. Your expertise on these topics would be a fantastic addition to our show. A bit about our podcast. We focus on empowering solopreneurs with the knowledge and tools they need to succeed. Recently, we've launched a platform of online courses designed to help aspiring solopreneurs navigate their entrepreneurial journey. Our audience is highly engaged and always eager to learn from experts like you. Having you on the podcast would not only provide immense value to our listeners who share a strong interest in the subjects you cover, but also offer you a platform to reach a new, enthusiastic audience. Would you be open to discussing one of your latest topics on our podcast? We would love to hear your thoughts and insights. Looking forward to your positive response.
That's a pretty good email. I personally wouldn't make any changes to that. It's good to go. Another way to improve the output is to add context as you go. This is useful because most times you just can't account for everything in your initial prompt. For example, we may realize once the content is generated that the language is hard to follow. We could instruct the AI to rewrite that email for a particular reading level. And we can continue to provide feedback to the AI in this way until we're happy with the output. So to recap, some precision techniques you can use include using the persona pattern to instruct the AI to assume a role in order to complete a task. Instructing the AI to assume related roles relevant to the task for a better output. Providing examples of the output we want, like a structure for our email. Introducing new information that is not in the AI's training data to help it accomplish a task. Things like links to specific pages, custom data, or context. Adding context as you go in order to shape or regenerate the output. Next, we'll look at how we can gain even more control over the output. I'll see you in the next video.